Hello, today I just started make a video about my new journey, my like the startup journey, which I'm building now. So that's why I wanted to record the video for my each step. So guys, before I start, actually I wrote any code for the product I'm building now. I sat down and wrote a manifesto for it. So it hadn't no users and no revenue back then. So it sounds maybe like a big word for a small thing, but it was most useful hour I spent this year actually. So this video is things, two things at once. And first one is how to write one of these for your startup, your company, and 5 rules I would give to anyone. So second is the story of why I needed one. So story has two failures in it and turned the same failure. First of all, just let me introduce myself. My name is Akshim Rajawov. I have been a user experience designer and consultant for about 16 years. I've worked for Electronic Arts and Deutsche Bank and a few places between. And now I'm building my product called Rawuser from the world. So I then product built before this one. I just make a startup before this product, so it died because actually I spent a month on architecture nobody had asked for. So all those moments felt myself productive, and because building is part where you can watch yourself making progress. So I told myself customer will be easy part once it was ready, and I never actually decided to stop talking to the people. It just stayed tomorrow's problem, and by the time I looked it up, I had a very good product that nobody had ever paid me for. Second one is more complicated, actually. It's more complicated. I want to tell it properly, not make like dramatically. In 2024, I built first version of the Rawuser, which I mentioned before, just I'm building now, and put it on the product account. That platform, and I got 105 upvotes there, which was actually January. It was a really great day for me, and then I stopped my product, building the product. And stopping was maybe the right call because that technical pieces were already, AI couldn't write content fast enough, and edge services were too expensive to run. This rate needs to run. But no, there was a second reason under the first one, and this is that those 105 upvotes hadn't turned into single customers. I had no plan for how they ever would, because attention that arrived and demand hadn't. And back then I didn't know those were two different things. So one product failed because I built without selling, and another one stopped after one good day with nothing under it. What they share is simple, which is that I had never written down, and I believed thing was for. So I had big plans instead, and big plans banned. So they always made room for whatever felt easy that week. This time, the first thing I made was not code. But document that argues why this should exist at all. So how the document is built is more useful to you. That's the question. So that fact I wrote one. The first thing to say is that is not a list of values. If what you are writing is a list of values, you can stop now. Nobody argues with words like transparency, and craft, and if nobody can argue with it, it cannot convince anyone either. So what I wrote is closer to like the essay. It is the case to make. It says one era is ending, and it shows evidence that current answer is failing. it changed the question everyone has been asking. It draws one hard line and it describes the future you can check later. That shape is the lesson actually. So here are the 5 things I will just tell you. I will give all rules to you. Which piece of that text does each one actually? So guys, rule 1, put a date on the things you are against. Because the argument with a date, it is a claim, and argument result 1 is just filling. Mine starts with the what website was when internet began, a static file like an HTML file, and every visitor seeing the same page. And then it lands on this line. Static website was like smart choice maybe 1995, but in this year, like in 2026, it's actually laziness. That line is kind about the past and hard about now. And those two halves do different jobs. If I had only written second half, I would sound like a man who thinks everyone before him was stupid, and that convinced nobody, and saying it was smart then and lazy now means that idea did it become the wrong. It just ran out of the time. That's much harder to argue with. So because everyone can feel that building the site got easy while nothing else about it changed. The same section has the line the rest of the document hangs on. Building has been solved. Building has been solved, but conversation hasn't. So guys, rule 2, give the problem the name. Because name can be repeated by someone who is not you. In the meeting you are not in, that is the how idea actually travels. And mine calls it in tyranny of the average. So this is the tyranny of the average, is site that speaks to no real human because it speaks to average human. The average human doesn't exist. So I didn't invent that phrase, but I tied it to one situation until it belonged there. So that is what naming is. Notice that the name carries argument inside it. So someone who only remembers these words, words still remembers the point. If one phrase is all that survives, make sure it carries the case. So rule 3, and this is the one we should carefully visit, because I named the computers in mind. There is a version of the which is just fair and readers can tell. So the real is not to never mention them. It's that every name comes with like a receipt, and receipt means something the company did. So something market can check and never something you feel about them. So my section on the old way says that for 15 years personalization has been built around one question, which is who is the visitor. Then it gives 3 reasons that way is failing, and each reason has evidence under it. So it's expensive, and I put number in $5,200 and $50,000 a year for the full stack, which ends the conversation for almost everyone I am the building for. So it is the wrong because matching an address to the company misses about the half time, and the data they buy goes out of the date. So this is not ethical. So instead of adjectives, I point at the laws and at mutiny leaving website personalization in 2025, a company walking away from its own market is strongest evidence you can get. Then the section ends in 5 words. The identity first era is actually over. So one honest note for maybe myself or maybe for you, because I would rather say it than pretend that document is perfect. Some of these names sit in the list without receipt for their own, and the list of name is closer to swipe than argument. So if I fix anything in the next edit, it is that either a fact next to every name or favor names actually. So rule 4 is the most important one in this video. And it is to change the question instead of claiming the better answer to the old one. If you argue that your answer beats theirs, you are playing on the scoreboard someone else built. The old question was, who is the visitor? And mine replaced it with, why is this visitor here? That works. That works because the answer to the new question is already in the request. So, and the tag is in the link, the site then sent them is in the header, and the hour, the language, and devices are simply there. None of it needed me to find out anything about nobody. But argument like this is only strong as one sign you use to prove it. So mine has a sign, you know. A vice president at Microsoft might be searching for cheap CRM for side project on the Sunday night. Like mutiny companies still shows them the enterprise message because they are still a vice president. So identity gets it wrong. Intents get it right, actually. So one person, one Sunday night, and the old question fails on exactly kind of the person it was built for. Find that sign of your own argument and put it in, because people forget your reasoning and remember the vice president on the Sunday night. So rule 5, take the question you get asked the most often and make it strongest section instead of part of you apologize for. Mine says that in every sales call I heard same thing, which is whether this is the privacy compliant and whether our legal team will approve it. For the old tools, answer was kind of the, but if that is your answer to your most common question, you didn't have the position yet. So my company, Rawuser, is not like the privacy friendly. It's the privacy irrelevant because it never touched the personal data. No cookies, no fingerprints, no tracking, just the context that's already in the open. There are two sections at the end of the document, like this people skip or fill with nothing, and they are the future and the why me, actually. The feature sections fails when it is the wish. So mine tries to be exact enough to check. So it says that single conversation number goes away and breakdown by intent takes the by place. So freelance designer at 12% and agencies at 8, enterprises at 4. You can come back and test that on me in 3 years. And it's on the line, I would keep, if I could only keep one, and internet without static websites. The why me section fails when it is about timing. I tried this in 2024 and stopped it because generation was too slow and edge compute was too expensive. Both are solved now. And the company that owned this market walked away from it, and CV part is only there to support the timing, and the last line is not a job title at all. If I weren't building this, I will be looking for it. Just I'm really sure about it. Now the part I criticize my own document because the gap will teach you more than a copy for it. The hard line in the mine, the one about never touching personal data, is writing as a fact about the product. So not as the refusal with the price on it. it will be stronger if it said what that choice cost me, which is the whole group of the customers. I could sell to if I changed my mind. I didn't sign it, even sold it first person whole way through, and then it just ends. So if you sit down to write one, data thinks you are against, so it reaches time running out and not the contempt. Name your problem in few enough words that other people can repeat it. Put a receipt next to every company you name or leave the company out. Change the question instead of competing on the old one, and make the question you are the most tired of hearing in your strongest section. The whole of the mine is linked to the description, and it takes about 6 minutes to read. From here, I am going to document what happens to this product with the numbers as they really are. Part of the reason for putting the argument out this early is that it gives you something to hold me to. So guys, my video is going to end. So subscribe if you want to follow it, and I will see you in the next one. So have a nice day. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.